good afternoon, and welcome to Roads Less Taken. I am Anthony Lapia. I'm here with my co-host,
Don Valentis.
And we have a very special guest that we are excited to host today, Annamarie Rivera, who is here joining us to talk about her journey as a fitness influencer. And before we get started, I just want to set the table. I mean, we started this show, Don and I, to inspire people. And that's one of the reasons that Annamarie is here today. So our show will focus on people that we believe are interesting. Two of those people will not be Don and I. And people who have followed a personal passion towards creating a career opportunity for themselves, creating a unique brand of some kind, or just an amazing career experience. That's the thing that we're really looking for. And not even a career experience, just an experience in general. And that's one of the reasons why we brought Annamarie in here today. So she is someone who has amassed a following of 70,000 followers on Instagram by way of losing 240 pounds naturally. Has appeared on the Rachel Ray Show because of the way she's inspired others, has been on WTNH News, Connecticut Style Magazine. There's any number of different places that she has appeared because of this journey, and we're excited to learn about it. So welcome, Annamarie.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome. And this is your first podcast.
It is.
And this is our first episode. Some
Right.
first for everybody.
Awesome.
So we have a great concept. We have a great guest. What could be better? What would we need otherwise besides this now? Listeners?
We would need some listeners.
Some listeners would be great.
We probably don't have, we're probably the only people listening to this right now, but that's going to change.
What that provides is zero pressure in this environment.
No pressure.
None.
So that is going to be the best part of today.
Yep.
So before we get started, I thought it would be cool to go around the room. I would love to hear this. And I prepared my answer ahead of time, so I cheated a little bit.
Oh boy.
Based on the concept of our show, saying people who inspire others with personal passion, who, famous or not famous, would be a great example of this for you? Like, I'll go first, and then I'll go to Don, and we'll let you go last. Take it home for us. For me, that person would be The Rock. And reason being, I have no idea, is The Rock an actor? Is he an athlete? Is he someone with an apparel brand? Like, he's all of those things.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
He's the people's champion.
He's
the
winning
people's
all day,
champion.
every day.
Yes.
Right? So for me, I feel like The Rock is the person that sort of embodies our show, but on the grandest scale. What about for you, Don?
So this was one that I had to think about, because there's probably a lot of people in my life that are inspirational just in my personal life, but also, people that are, I guess, famous or in the limelight. Like for me, it's a lot of athletes. I love sports. So one that I thought of was Ronda Rousey. So she's someone who I've watched documentaries on her, who is super determined, an Olympian athlete. But what she did is she broke into MMA, which is now a really mainstream sport for females. She created MMA for females. And now there's multiple weight divisions, and there's people making millions and millions of dollars because of her in a sport that it was non-existent. It was basically a sport that we won't have women fight. And Ronda Rousey came along and she broke that mold and changed that.
Don't think about it. Gut reaction. Could she beat you up?
Yeah. What kind of question is that? Of course.
Yeah. I was thinking this would kill me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same thing. Is there anybody that comes to mind for you?
I would have to say someone I actually follow, Possible Pat. He has lost, I think, over 400 pounds naturally. He's the first sponsored athlete by bodybuilding.com. Just watching him go through the massive weight loss process was crazy inspirational. And then to see him go through the skin removal process and all of that, and how much we have in common, I just think that he's definitely someone that I've looked up to on my journey personally.
That's awesome. So we found a couple people living in that mode. And now let's switch gears and go over to you, which to me is the most exciting part of today. So Don and I both found you through your Instagram handle, Weight Loss with Annamarie.
That is it.
And it is inspired. People go follow. You will join the 70,000 that are already following, which is good.
Become part of the army.
Become part of the army.
What do you call it? What do you call your people? Is there any special name for them?
Fit fam.
Fit fam?
Yeah, every day.
Become part of the fit fam.
Get on and talk to them good morning, Fit fam.
That is very hashtagable, which is the best part.
Fit fan.
Okay. So do me a favor. Bring us to the day that you decided to change your life when you started your journey of losing 240 pounds naturally. Like, that is insane.
Thank you.
What was it like the day everything changed for you?
So I was leaving work and I was debating whether or not I was going to get Chinese food or Duchess. And the reason why I was having that debate was because if I got Chinese food, I would have to get out of my car. But if I got Duchess, I could just go through the drive-thru. So I was that lazy that I was like debating whether or not I was going to get out of my car to get food. So I was driving up Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton, and I passed the same Planet Fitness I pass every single day. And then for some reason, something came over me, and the next light, I did a U-turn, turned around, pulled into the lot, signed up. And I remember like getting in my car and just saying like, that's it. Today is the day. Like my life, the way I've been living is done. Like I need to start over. And then here we are today, 240 pounds smaller.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with that, what did day one feel like, and how many day ones were there?
I'll be honest with you, there was only one. I was never a stop and start like type of person. So as soon as I started, everybody like looked at me and said, this girl means business, because I didn't care about losing weight. It was never something I thought about, never something I tried. It wasn't even like, it was the furthest thing from my brain. Like I never in my life like thought that I would actually start losing weight. I enjoyed eating bad. I enjoyed that lifestyle of just constantly fast food. And so that's why it never occurred to me that I would start that day and just keep going.
All right. I don't want to hog the airtime, Don. I know you have questions.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. And it sounds like so there must have been challenges, obviously, along the way, I would assume.
Tons.
And I know just by watching your content, to do what you did, or for any person that's going to be successful or do something, whether it's just in their regular everyday life, personal life, business, it's a mindset, and it's a total change. Like you have to change everything and basically block everything out.
Everything and everyone.
Everything and everyone.
Absolutely.
Because there's going to be a lot of people that tell you, you can't do this. You're not going to do that. You're going to go on the diet. You're going to gain weight back, whatever it may be. So I'm assuming you went through that. And how long did it take you until you got to that? I guess you had mentioned in another post, obsession.
Absolutely.
So, and I noticed that most people that are really into fitness, obsession is, you're obsessed with it. So when did that take place where you were like, I'm not listening to the naysayers. I'm not listening to the people saying I can't do it. I'm going to do this. And then you're completely committed. You changed your mindset and you became obsessed with it.
Well, I always say that obsessed is a word that the lazy use to describe the dedicated.
Sure.
That is something that I always stand by. And I feel like as people saw how obsessed I was, that they just felt like it was a phase or they felt like it was too much. But I think like with anything, unless you're so truly obsessed about it and passionate about it, you won't be successful. So I would say the people closest to me were pretty supportive. They did think I was crazy. They probably still do with the way that I work out. But like you said, there were a lot of obstacles along the way. I ended up having emergency neck surgery, knee surgery, major car accident. I mean, a lot of physical setbacks, but not one of those did I ever gain weight back. Not one of those did I ever let stop me. Like even after knee surgery, 5 days later, I was on the bike. So, I mean, I basically used every setback as a setup for another comeback. So I always kept thinking like, how could I just keep going? How could I just keep going? I never, at one point said, is this going to stop me? Like I knew in my heart that I was unstoppable.
So I follow so much of your content, and so much of what you're saying right now is very consistent with what you post and what you put out there, which is empowering for others.
Thank you.
There's phases to this, right? So there's the beginner phase where you're taking on something new and it's probably scary.
Yes.
And then there's you become sort of a pro in place, and it's like, okay, this is my jam. I go to the gym. I'm eating right. I'm on a flow. And then you get to where you are today, which probably felt like someplace you never imagined. Explain to me or describe for us like some of the phases that you went through. What was it like when you knew you were sort of crossing the chasm?
I think in the beginning, I was so obsessed because I had so far to go. And as I kept going, I was still obsessed, but I just felt like I set up different goals. Like I knew that I wanted to get down to a certain weight. I knew that I wanted to get down to a certain body size for skin removals. Like there was so much that I kept setting different goals for myself, but I think where I am now, like being a size 4, like being under like, 160, things like that, being over 400 pounds, those numbers never even seemed real. Like they just seemed so far that now sometimes I even look in the mirror and I'm like, who is this? Who am I?
Don does that too.
Every morning.
At what point did you know that people were watching and you started to build a following?
I would say I still remember I was probably already about 80 pounds down maybe. And I just remember seeing that number get to 1,000. And I'm like, 1,000 people care about my journey? And then I just saw it get larger and larger and larger. And then companies started reaching out, and it just, as I started teaming up with like supplement lines, and a lot of publicity came about, like you said, with different, platforms on whether it be news articles or magazines, the following started to grow even more. And just knowing that there's all these people like watching every move that you make on social media, but it's because it's a good reason. They're not doing it to be nosy. They're doing it because they want to accomplish something that you are doing, which is weight loss. So I think that, in itself was pretty scary, but now it's a good feeling to know that there's people out there that actually look up to what you do.
Yeah. It's really cool to see how many followers you have. The content you put out is awesome.
Thank you.
So it's not as simple as, let me jump in a gym, let me eat healthy. There must have been a lot of education along the way for you to educate yourself, because I think of eating healthy, and this is shame on me because I don't eat healthy. 1, 2. For me, I think eating healthy is I'll eat chicken and like some kind of vegetables every day. Like that's what I'll eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can't do that.
No, that's stereotypical.
Right.
I thought the same thing in the beginning.
And that's what I mean. There's some education along the way, but then as you develop a bigger following, you're constantly educating and motivating your followers.
In the same way that they're getting educated is the same way that I'm getting educated. Believe it or not, I'm learning a lot from social media, and it's all trial and error. Like I would, follow a page and see different things that they're making. Is that working for me? Am I continuing to lose weight? Am I gaining? Like I just tried so many different routes to get where I am today. So that's why I think social media is huge. With me, like, yeah, there's people that are watching me, but I'm watching other people too. I'm learning from everybody else around me, like people with large followings.
I went through a similar scenario of obviously not losing that type of weight, but making a lifestyle shift when my first son was born, who's 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that when I got to my goal weight, there was a letdown in the sense that I was no longer chasing something. How do you stay motivated in the face of all that you've accomplished? And what's the next bastion for you? Like what's next?
With me, it was crazy because I wanted so bad to get to a certain weight. And then when I got there, I didn't realize that I was going to be left with so much excess skin. So I think that was a main goal to me, was like after losing about 230 was just toning. And then I got to my skin removals. And then now with the skin gone, to me, it's like this excitement of like, lifting and toning and just kind of transforming my body now that I was able to, get the skin removed and get the weight off. So it's like you always have to set a new goal for yourself, even if it's something as silly as like growing your quads or your biceps. Like small, silly goals to other people, but to you, it has to be big. It has to be important.
So I guess aside from, let's take a step away from the working out and the eating healthy portion of it, because I don't eat healthy.
It's not his forte.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
It's not my forte.
He keeps putting off the eating healthy.
I've done one diet in my life. I was at Myrtle Beach. I went down to Myrtle Beach with my friends on a golf trip, and I was embarrassed to take my shirt off in front of my friends. So I'm like, I have to go on a diet. So I did. I just went on one of those diets where I just ate meat and vegetables, no sugars, no carbohydrates. And I really did lose a lot of weight, and I felt great.
Because it was a diet, not a lifestyle.
But it wasn't a lifestyle change. Mm-hmm. I did work out, and then I let like a weekend slip, and with like any other lifestyle change, that's it. You start to slowly go back, and you're like, I'll slowly start eating, a piece of bread here. Mm-hmm. And at first, even in that short period of time, and I did lose quite a bit of weight, I didn't feel good if I ate something that I used to eat, right?
Correct.
But if you go a day or two, or even just one day, that you can head down the path of going back to what it was before. And that's what happened to me. And you've been going through this journey now for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of your followers have too.
That's like my biggest question I get.
Right. Like, how do you avoid that?
I always tell people, like, think of your body as your car. Like, if you're driving down I-95 right now and you get a flat tire, you're not going to get out of your car and slash the other three. You're already screwed. So you're not just going to keep screwing yourself over and over. You fix that tire, you get back in your car, and you keep going. That's like the best way to look at it. Like, you can't just keep destroying yourself because you already have.
Right.
You have to just pick yourself right back up.
Annamarie, you missed an opportunity just now, and I feel like we should turn the tables and let you interview Don. Did you take your shirt off on that trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how did you feel?
How'd you feel?
Oh, I felt awful.
Out of 10.
If you were to grade yourself.
Before?
No. When you went on the trip and you did the diet.
No, I did the diet when I got back from the trip.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so it wasn't about...
So how did you feel when you looked in the mirror?
Oh, I felt a lot better. I felt amazing.
Out of 10?
Not a 10.
A 9.4?
Solid 6.
It depended on the day. Some days maybe a 10, maybe some days a 9. No, but I felt really good. And I did allow, and I make a lot of excuses for myself personally. Like, you're super into fitness, and he, I would say, is obsessed. And even as a friend, I kind of joke around with him, like, you're crazy, eat some bread. Or if I'm eating with him, like, have some of this or have that. And he's like, no. And I respect that. I still.
But his answer mentally is because he has goals.
Correct. He has goals.
Right?
And
I'm hoping that it leads to a growth spurt, to be honest with you. I'd love to be 6'3", but I'm not. So there's that. I want to ask you another question. So there's this journey that you never expect in the way that it started, and they always say start with the end in mind. If you envisioned where you were today, then that would be insane, right? You probably didn't. You probably had something else. So now you are a sponsored athlete.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you're the only sponsored athlete in this room. Sam, are you a sponsored athlete? Okay, so Don's not, I'm not. The most athletic thing we did today was actually come in this room.
I threw the football to myself.
We did throw the football for a couple of minutes. Now that you've reached this level, what did that open up for you? And how do you then envision the next steps in terms of building a brand? Because weight loss with Annamarie has become a brand.
It has.
Whether it was intended to or not. What's next?
So it was crazy because in 2015, 2014, I reached out to Quest Nutrition, which was like one of my dreams. And they basically said, you know what, right now we're not trying to work with anybody. We pretty much are set up. And then in 2015, they reached out to me, and I remember like literally getting that letter and that package and thinking like, Quest Nutrition, like everybody eats Quest bars. Most everybody eats Quest bars. So that was huge. And then Motivate Performance reached out, and that was another dream of mine. So it's like having these two like nice credit cards in your wallet. Like you have like your dream kind of things going for you. So it helped me obviously to not only grow my following, to be able to make an impact and make an income at the same time. And as far as like my name being a brand, that's something I never thought. So it was able to help me with weight loss consulting, personal training. So being able to help people one-on-one to me was probably, out of all the dreams that came true, that was probably the biggest.
And how did that come together with Motivate? You say they reached out. Did they just basically call you, email you? What was the...
Well, it's funny because I reached out originally and I wasn't what they were looking for. And then when they did finally reach out to me months later, almost probably a year later, they reached out and they basically said, you know, we want you on our team. However, I was what you would probably consider like a plus size athlete at the time. I was about 80 pounds heavier than this. And I can't tell you how many supplements I tried. It wasn't until like changing up my supplements, changing up my routine, did I truly see all the progress that I did over the last 80 pounds and like being able to tone and getting where I was before my excess skin removal surgeries. So having them reach out was big because after me, they started to sign so many other athletes of all different like sizes, ages, races. Like it just, there was no longer a stereotypical athlete. I just feel like athletes don't come in a size. And in our heads, we always like, when you think of an athlete, you think of someone that's, 5'2" with abs. You don't think of somebody that's on a weight loss journey. And people that are on a weight loss journey want to look up to someone that's going through it or has been on one.
That's got to be an awesome feeling for them to reach out.
It was.
Is it like surreal? You're like, is this happening? Is this real?
It was huge because that was like a supplement line that I personally take and that I was like so into. So being able to work for the company that you like love and get paid to do so, it's big. I mean, that to me was huge.
I want to switch gears. I want to make 2 mentions. The first one is we've shown some love to Motivate Performance on this show today. So just know that Don and I are both available if they were to need any other athletes. I'm kidding. You don't want us. I am the 5'2" guy with abs that you were mentioning. I think you were talking about women, but I'm
women. Yeah,
I'm a little taller, 5'2", but not much. And Don is the 6'3" that I'm aspiring for. Going to another thing. So social media has become such a big part of your story because it's been the voice box for you to get it out there. What are some of the things that you've valued and cherished about that relationship with social media? What are some of the downsides?
So things that I cherish, having so many people look up to you. I mean, I think that that's big. Like I know going through my journey, there were people that I looked up to, and it's funny because now it's like you looked up to them and now you're like on the same playing field as them, which is crazy. And I almost feel like so many of them that I looked up to, I see them like fall off and they start reaching out to you for inspiration. You're kind of like, wow, it's crazy how like your life turns. But as far as like the downsides, I mean, people have opinions and they are not always good. I mean, it could be anything that you do, whether it be, you know, what you do for a living, places you go, you know, with me, like personal, like it could be like plastic surgery, it could be anything. People will always have an opinion. You could post, you know, yourself, I'll give you a silly example. Like you could be sitting in a passenger seat of a car, taking a video talking, and you will have 18 people commenting or emailing you or messaging you why you are driving and using your phone when you're not. I mean, like people are so concerned with the stupid things that you do. You know what I mean? Like
he does Facebook Live all the time. I bet you even get some of that. Right? For business, he does Facebook Live.
Yeah, and I have about 1/1000th of the followers. But no, I do. People do comment or say things, and you're just like, why? Why even comment?
There's a lot of people that are so negative. And it's funny because I remember like there was a point in my life where I was so unhappy that I felt like I was one of those people that I had something to say about everything. And now I kind of like look at it like your opinion does not pay my bills. Your opinion doesn't change the scale. Your opinion doesn't get that next belt size loop in. You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. So it's just, that's probably the downside. I mean, a lot of people have opinions and it's kind of like with social media, you choose what you share. And if you're not choosing to share every single aspect, it leaves a lot of like mystery and questions. And not everybody likes that.
The belt loop that you mentioned, I feel like I'm one of those people that's always in between. You ever have to poke a hole in your belt to create another loop?
Yes.
I'm that guy.
I just don't wear them anymore. It just don't wear them anymore.
Belt loops have always given me the real fits.
No.
No?
I've never.
Okay.
I use the whole
thing. You use the assigned loops?
I use the assigned loops, the ones that they make. But it's funny that you mentioned that. And there's haters, and whenever someone is successful or doing something, there's haters. And people are going to hate on you solely to hate on you. And I'm assuming a lot of, I guess you shouldn't assume, but anyway, there's a lot of people that probably look at what you're doing and they're just haters because they can't do and or aren't as dedicated as you are. And I'm assuming you just block those people out because of your mindset and because of your drive.
It took a lot for me to not take it personal, but I think like, I'll give you an example. On all my photos, I always post weight, the amount lost, no surgery. And I think when I say no surgery, people assume that I am bashing weight loss surgery, and I'm not. It's because I personally, if I was still 400 pounds and I was on Instagram and I saw somebody's thing that said no surgery, I mean, I was literally going to seminars for gastric bypass. So I took the route on not doing it. And I think if I saw somebody like that, like when I was my biggest, that to me would have been so much more helpful because I would have reached out to them and said, you know, how can you help me? Or so I'm not doing it as a way to bash another route. I'm doing it as a way to show that I did it without that.
Right.
And I think that people that have had the surgery, they just get so mad and they reach out, or other people comment like, why do you have to write that? But I'm not doing it to bash. I think like you said with social media, like you have haters. So you have people that are going to take something that you say and completely twist it around or take it differently.
Yeah, that actually leads me to one of the things that I was curious about. So in many ways, you probably are talking to someone out there who's living the same exact life that you were living before. Mm-hmm. And when you are putting content out there, in some ways, are you channeling what you would have said to yourself or what you would have wanted said to you when you were there? Like, what would you have said to Annamarie circa 2013?
Like, I always have this mindset of be the person you needed when you were younger. And it's like, I didn't have that. So if I can try to at least be half of the person that I needed when I was at my biggest and lowest, then that to me is like the most important. So like you said, I mean, like you kind of have to look at like where you came from and what you needed back then and try to be that person now. Because there's other people that are literally going through the same thing, if not worse. And they feel like surgery or they feel like these quick, fast diets are their only way out. And
I tried.
I want to let you know that when I post, I'm speaking directly to you. I'm trying to motivate you. It hasn't worked yet.
It's not working yet.
What would be the thing that you would want people to know about you, just in the challenges that you have, how hard it is to put the work in? People see the finished product, and no matter how many times, like we're going to show the before and after on this podcast, so people can just see the work that's been put in. What are the things you'd want them to know that are real? It's like, what's hard for you right now?
I'll be honest with you, the whole mindset of no excuses. I went through major neck surgery in the end of 2018, something that I never expected. The night of surgery, my airways completely shut down and I ended up in ICU for over a week. And it was just a nightmare. And the surgery was actually failed. So I have screws and plates in my neck for absolutely no reason. That there's days when I can barely get out of bed in tears and I'm in pain every single day, but I still push through it. So it's like I always try to tell people, like, stop making excuses. I have a headache, my back hurts, my knee hurts, I don't have time. Like, if I'm there putting in the work after all that I have been through physically, then you can get your butt out of bed and go to the gym. Or like people that they don't have time, I always tell them, like, you didn't get gypped and get 23 hours. I didn't get a reward and get 25 hours in a day. We all have 24 hours. So I think that, like, if I could always like make one thing clear, just stop making excuses for what you eat, for, not working out. There's always somebody out there that has it worse than you. Always. And
it's so easy to make excuses if you let yourself. It's
100%.
Every day, all day long. So it's kudos to you. And I'm going to go back to the social media portion because I do have a question that I want to ask. And, now with my business, I'm trying to post stuff that's value add to drive business for myself. And, there's not that many people that are looking at my content or even asking about it. But if I get some comments and like some people to like it, I'm like, okay. But you have 70,000 people. So you now literally have a family that, like,
it's a fit family.
It's fit family.
Hashtag
fit family. But so you have a responsibility to those people. I'm assuming you feel that you have a responsibility to them every day.
Every day.
And like, so are you putting content out every day, multiple times a day? And where does that end? Right. Where does the Instagram part of your life end? And then, like, it never ends, I'm assuming, right? So you have so many followers.
As far as like my journey, no, it never ends. Like posting my journey, it never ends. Like, I have different reasons to post different things. Like, for instance, today, my biggest thing, and you probably know from following me, is never miss a Monday. Yeah. So all Sunday, I'm ranting about people not missing Monday's workout because it sets a tone for the week. And then Wednesday's hump day. Like, I mean, there's always, like, on Friday, I post for the weekends, like, don't let your weekend be your weekend. So it's like, I find different.
I like that one.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I really like the one where you said it's not hard. Put your supplements out for the entire week.
Yes.
Put your gym clothes out for the entire week. And I think that goes back to no excuses.
Yeah, like, right? I think
no excuse.
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Right.
So I think that, like, you have to have reasons to be reasons to have them, like, engage with them in a sense. So Monday is a whole thing about do not miss a Monday. Sunday, I always talk about picking everything out for the week. Like, I literally, and I swear my past life I was in the military because this is not who I was growing up. But now, like, my clothes are picked out for the entire week. Like, my gym clothes, my meals are prepped. Like, you have to find different things, like, that you can kind of, in a sense, like, have them relate to or give them tips, and that's, I guess, where your following comes from. I mean, like, people, like, I know with me personally, when I look at someone's page, it's because, like, they're helping me out. So you have to find ways to get your point across.
And are you getting a lot of, like, private messages?
A lot.
People saying, like, what's that look like in, like a day? Are you getting, like...
The good or the bad?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's just the sheer volume that you're getting.
Between, like, DMs and emails, I mean, you probably get dozens a day.
Wow.
It could be just anything from great posts. It could be definitely people like reaching out. I do get a lot of questions about like supplements. I mean, whatever you're posting, you have to remember that when you do have a following, like you said, like you have a responsibility.
Right.
So people look at things that you post and they feel like, you know what, she's been successful with that. Or it could be anything. Like I could post a salad dressing that I used and people want to know where to buy it. I mean, it could be something as silly as that. But in a sense, you have a responsibility to continue to give them things to look up to or give them parts of your life or your journey. So they want to reach out. They want to ask questions.
In terms of volume, because you've mentioned it twice, are the good and the bad equal in terms of volume?
No. The good far outweighs the bad.
And in value, I would imagine the good
absolutely
outweighs the bad.
Absolutely.
100%.
You, like I said, for every one person that has something bad to say to you through a DM, like an internet gangster, I guess you could say, there's thousands of people that feel the opposite way and look up to you. So that stuff never gets to me. It did take me a little while to not take it personal, but now like I literally just laugh because I just think like someone is hating on you behind a free app. It's like they can't even afford to hate properly if you think about it.
But I'm sensing some motivational.
Did I just say that?
That's really good. Let's pause. I appreciate that call out because it was a good one.
That was a good one. Where did that come from?
It is true. It's you have to get to a point where you don't take it personal.
No.
It's like, I don't care what you have to say.
No.
Or I don't care who you are. One, you're hiding behind a computer. Mm-hmm. But even people in your life will say things, and I'm sure you've heard it going through what you've gone through. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you know, if you stop working out, you're going to gain all your weight back, or you can't do this forever. Like, you just have to say, okay, whatever.
It's actually the opposite. It's, oh, God forbid you miss the gym today. Or if you're late, let me guess you were at the gym. Or if you go to a restaurant, or let me guess you can't eat that. Right. Or let me guess you're not going to have a beer. No, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually the opposite. I don't think there's anyone in my life at this point that thinks that I would fall off. Yeah, I won't be proving that.
I think I was generalizing. Just like people
in general, yeah.
In general. I kind of feel bad about the things that you just said because I do that to Anthony.
It hurts. Like, cut me open, I bleed. I'm a regular human being.
I don't mean it.
One thing though that I sort of live by, and I never put more weight behind someone's words than my actions. Right? Like, I'm doing. That's a fact. You're talking, and there's no reason for us to compare notes, right? Like, and I'd imagine you feel that way too.
Absolutely.
So let's go to some of the folks that have been instrumental in your journey, because no one does anything alone, right? So there's been your the brands that have come out and sort of given you like that extra platform. Has there been any trainers that you want to shout out, or is there anybody you've worked with from a fitness perspective that is like instrumental? And in terms of the brand you're working with, anybody you want to call some attention to?
I mean, like, as far as trainers, I have not had a personal trainer. No, I didn't. I literally, everything was like videos, Instagram, YouTube, like everything I did, I learned off social media. Definitely people like Erica Fitlove. She's someone I've like, Possible Pat. Like, these are people that started the same way I did, grew a following, like have so many people that look up to them. But it's crazy because it's like they follow you and they're looking up to you for certain reasons, but I'm looking up to them. Like, I mean, I like look at different things that they've gone through and I'm just like, wow, if they can go through that, then I can go through that. Like, so many, I've seen people like go through cancer, and like one of our motivated athletes is like on round 4 or 5 of chemo and radiation for cancer. And she's literally in the gym the same day. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, it's awesome to see like how many people like go through things in life and just still continue to push through it. So those are definitely people that I look up to. Are there videos that got you started that you would recommend to anybody? It's all social media. Like the same people I mentioned, it's like their workout videos. I didn't know if it was Shaun T or Tony Horton. No, it's funny. I actually, like, when I was doing 2-a-days, I would start like in the morning and do a workout, and then I would go home and do hip hop abs. I don't know why, but I did. And then I got back into after
I do that every night.
Hip hop abs.
Hip hop abs.
He has the rhythm of a popsicle stick.
I can't.
That's not very nice.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's not nice.
I'm sorry. I was getting you back.
Sorry.
But yeah. So I would do that, and then I just started working out twice a day, like cardio in the morning, like fasted cardio, and then at night, like lifting. So I kind of like had my regimen going.
All right. So before we start to wrap things up, first of all, we could talk to you all day because this is an amazing thing and it's relatable.
Thank you.
Right? Mm-hmm. This isn't where I look at LeBron James and know that I could never be that. There are people out there that look at someone who's in your position. You're an everyday person with the responsibilities of everyday life, and you've gotten where you've gotten. And I think that's why people relate to you and gravitate towards you. And you're great at telling your story. So we can talk to you all day. Let's go around the room and just give any parting thoughts. Like, and I'll get started, just so you guys aren't on the spot and having to go.
Yeah, because he's confusing me right now.
When I made up the question. So, what are some of the things that you would leave us with that might help someone just getting started on the show? I kind of messed this up, right? I started out as a statement and then I gave a question.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
So I'll ask one last question instead. What is a parting thought that you would give to someone who's on the fence right now about making that journey? You're talking directly to them to inspire that person to go on the same trip that you just went on for the last few years.
Like you can't start for a holiday. You can't start for like a wedding, an event for somebody else. Like you just literally have to, like, they say like the most successful weight loss stories are people that were just completely fed up. Like don't do it for anything else. Just have your mind made up and then just start, because that way you're not really tying your goals to a date or anything like that. And then just start. I mean, it doesn't matter where, how. You don't have to have a freaking $200 pair of Nikes. You don't have to have the nicest gym clothes. Just get there. I mean, that's probably the best thing I could say. Just start. You have to want it.
Perfect.
You guys may have a couple pairs of $200 Nikes though.
We do.
Just
We were
based on
comparing
our
notes about
conversation.
Yeah, we're bad.
I do not have a $200 pair of Nikes. Maybe 120.
You should.
Maybe
though.
some Air Max.
But maybe they were on sale for 120.
Let me tell
They
you
might have
something
been.
about shoes.
I usually go to the outlet.
There's a reason.
Retail value.
There's a reason they are so wonderfully important. They always fit. No matter what's going on in your life, you go to put a pair of shoes on, some slick sneakers.
I like Nike.
They fit. I'm a Nike person myself.
Yeah.
I've started to go and blend in some Adidas because I want to be open-minded.
A few.
But a few.
I just like the shell tops.
Yeah.
I like the retro sneakers.
Any parting questions, my friend?
I don't really have a parting question, but one, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Your story is amazing.
Thank you.
And it goes, like Anthony mentioned, we can talk forever, but it goes deeper than, than what we even discussed today. It's, you mentioned being an athlete. You can't be an athlete, but when you are unhealthy or at a certain stage, there's so many things that can happen. Just forget about looking good and feeling good. There's so many health things.
Absolutely.
And you're putting your life in danger and in jeopardy. So it's really inspiring. And to those people that, if anybody can be inspired by it, and obviously you have a whole fit fam, but it is truly inspiring, because if you help any person, you're not just helping them look better, feel better, but you're helping them essentially extend their life and just be healthier, which is really, it's amazing and it's inspirational. And I've watched your videos, and I recommend everybody jump on, watch your videos and watch your content. It's really awesome, and your journey is awesome. And I'm just happy that you were gracious enough to be part of it.
No, I'm glad you guys had me. I mean, I said when I continue, there was points where I'm like, I'm done sharing my journey. There was parts where I kind of just felt like I want to just live my life and not have everything on social media. But I think like I have this mindset that if there's one person that changes their life because of my story, then that right there is successful on its own. Like all the supplements, all of the publicity, all of that is nothing compared to like how you feel when someone comes up to you that recognizes you and they're like, I lost 20 pounds because of you. You've changed my life. Like, you can't put a price tag on that. You cannot.
Sure.
An adage, and Don's a Yankee fan, so I think he'll appreciate this. I am not a Red Sox fan.
Yankees.
I suppose I'm outnumbered. There's an adage about Joe DiMaggio.
Okay.
The great Joe DiMaggio. And they used to ask Joe D, why do you play so hard every day? And his answer was, because today might be the first day that some kid is seeing me play baseball. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the basis of it. And it sounds like how you feel too. Stopping to share your journey may make you inspire one less person. Mm-hmm. You've inspired 2 more people today. Like we follow your content. Meeting you in person was even better.
Thank you.
And you've been great today. Tune in to the show. The rest of our podcast will focus on stories just like this, where we'll be interviewing athletes, artists, people in the corporate world that have followed their passions towards creating a great opportunity, whether it's for their career, whether it's for just a great experience in their life, or whether it's allowed them to do what you've done, which is flourish into a brand. And if all of them go as well as today, we'll be really happy. So thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Anybody want to shout out?
How do people reach you? How do people connect with you?
They can either my email address, which is on my Instagram, Weight Loss with Annamarie, or email at weightloswithannamarie@gmail.com. But my advice as far as social media is, if you're trying to start a social media account or you're trying to grow a following, you just keep it real. That's the best way to put it. Like put something out there that people can relate to. That to me is like what everything is. Like people say, like, we follow you because you keep it real. Like I'm so transparent about every aspect of my journey. I think that's why people follow it.
Keep it real and consistent. You do it every day.
Thank you.
The consistency part is big, and she does it every single day.
Every day.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to more. And if you ever want to come back, you are welcome.
Please.
Open door.
You are welcome. Open door. No one ever comes over here, so we'll figure we'll keep an open door.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.